Welcome to Mind Over Matter, where we feature young Jamaicans who are shooting for the stars. I'm your host, Margaret Boyne. Lung cancer remains a devastating disease. Today, my guest is a young researcher whose work on small cell lung cancer has the potential to revolutionize treatment. He's a 24-year-old student at Stanford University pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Biology and a Master of Science in Epidemiology and Clinical Research. He's an undergraduate researcher at Stanford University School of Medicine. A Gates Scholar, he's a recipient of the Stanford Cancer Institute Undergraduate Fellowship Award, the 2023 Prime Minister's National Youth Award for Excellence, and a 2023 Rhodes Scholarship finalist. And these are just a few of his awards over the years. He shares his academic journey from Ardenne High School to Stanford University and his groundbreaking research on small cell lung cancer. My guest is Kyle Lambert.
I knew I wanted to go to a school that had a lot of research. I wanted to go to a big school with a lot of funding, a lot of opportunities. So when I just kind of throw my eggs in the basket and just say, okay, I'm going to apply to all the Ivy Leagues, apply to the big names, the Stanford, all these great schools. And I was so fortunate to get accepted to a lot of them, Yale and Columbia and, all these great schools. It was a big decision, right? First in my family to pursue a college degree in the US. And so I relied on speaking to my guidance counselors and my mentors and saying, okay, here's what my interests are. And at the end of the day, when it came to the deadline to accept a school, which was I believe it was May 1st in 2020, I had decided on Yale. So I had accepted Yale's offer and I was ready to go to Yale. My bags were packed and ready to go. It was up until it was in summer where actually I was just chatting with some friends, and I think even scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through social media and seeing some things that Stanford was posting about their science, and also just looking at the campus and how gorgeous it was, that I really started to consider it. Because I had applied to Stanford, I had got accepted, but once I had picked Yale, that was it for me. I was like, it's done. I'm very excited, going to an amazing institution. But then I started to question it in the middle of summer, and I was like, you know what? I think I need to consider this thing seriously and wonder if Stanford is the place to be for me for the type of science that I want to do. So I considered it. I spoke with the admissions officers at Stanford again and let them know that, in hindsight, I'm actually still interested. Because the thing is, when you actually accept a school in May 1st, you have to reject all your other offers. You have to actually tell them that you're no longer interested. So I had already told Stanford that I was no longer interested and I've accepted Yale's offer. I had to backtrack on that in the middle of summer, and I had emailed them, told them that, here's where my interests lie. I see that the type of science that I want to do most fits the resources that I'll get at Stanford. And, they were responsive. They told me they'd get back to me in the week, and they did. They said, welcome home, Kyle. We're excited to have you. Let Yale know you won't be going there. That was about and that was really about it. And, I truly, sometimes I believe it was just a movement from God. And, and honestly, sometimes you just have to follow your gut when you realize, say, this is a place that you belong. And, I haven't regretted the decision at all. It has just been such an amazing experience academically, socially. The type of places that I've been able to go to just being here at Stanford has been just amazing.
And you're doing your bachelor's and your master's at the same time?
Correct. Yes. So I'm graduating this June with my bachelor's of science in neurobiology, as well as my master's of science in epidemiology and clinical research.
You mentioned going to Ardenne.
Yeah.
Tell us about your Ardenne years. What did you do
Correct.
at Ardenne? Were you an overachiever? Well, I would imagine so.
Yeah, so I like to think that my time at Ardenne was really focused on the academics. I wasn't as dipping my toes into the actual practice of science and that type of thinking. What I was very interested in at Ardenne was global health. I was always thinking about disparities on a global level. I would spend a lot of time researching online, just like, oh, what are the disparities that we face in the Caribbean? What are disparities that people face on like a racial level, on a gender-based level? And that was always interesting to me. And I think that was really my introduction to health while I was at Ardenne, and just the preparation. I mean, just the teachers and the amount of care that they had put into ensuring that, people are understanding the biology, understanding the physics. And I talk about it all the time when I had just moved to the US, and I was moving into what was it, 11th grade, I believe. And we, they give you a schedule, and there's about 8 classes of just, you had like a bio. Yeah. But then I'm thinking about it, it's like, at our then where we're taking like 15 classes in grade 8, and we're learning biophysics, chem, all of this history, Caribbean history, everything at the same time. And we don't even think about it in Jamaica as like we know it's challenging, but we don't think about how challenging that is and how good the preparation is for stepping out. And when it's time to go to all these big name universities, it come in like nothing really, right? It come in like you have that preparation. So I am always so ever grateful for Ardenne and just the preparation that I received there, as well as, at the primary level when I was going to Columbus in St. Anne. Both those schools really put me on a place where I can have the success where I'm at today.
So you migrated in 2017?
You're right. Yes, 2017.
Right. So what was that transition like?
Oh, it was challenging. We have a warmth in Jamaica that I think embraces community on a lot of levels that, I think as a youngster you take for granted, right? And you don't realize how much that contributes to even just like the academic success that I was having in Jamaica, how much it contributes to the happiness level, which is just so important, but when you're studying so much. So it became a challenge. One, financially, we moved to New York City, which was extremely expensive, hard to figure out. And then there was a challenge of just, this is a novel place. It's a new place to me. I don't know much about these schools. I don't know much about these Yales and these Stanfords, and having to learn, what they're all about and how to actually get acceptance to any of those schools. It was challenging. And, luckily I had just such amazing support with my mother and my sisters, my father, while he was there. We just were able to kind of commit to family at the time and making sure that all of us are progressing as we needed. And, it worked so beautifully. We achieved as we needed to, the big goals of getting to the Stanfords, it all happened. And, so while the transition was challenging, I was focused, my family was focused, and we were able to achieve as we needed.
And it was while you were at George Washington Carver High School. That was when
Right.
you founded the Med for All Global.
Right.
And tell
Yes.
us a little about that initiative.
Certainly. Yeah, so this is an initiative that has just been so dear to my heart, and it constitutes most of the global health work that I've been able to do on a practical level. So when I was at Carver, as we call it, um, I wanted to work on those global health things that I was telling you about, that I started to think about at Ardenne. And now that I had a little bit of tools here in the US, and a lot of my mentors would talk to me about having these passion projects, how we can build on things that we care about. So I started with a small group of mostly friends really, who had similar interests, and we would go out into the community, would go to nursing homes, we would do different drives, collect donations, we would start working on online initiatives, coming up with different ways to teach people about global health disparities, how to understand the effects of things like Islamophobia on Muslim women's health, understand the effects of food deserts in the United States and in the world. And that was just truly amazing experience as a youngster coming up with such an idea. It was good to kind of, one, build that leadership experience, and also know that this is how I can leave my legacy in a lot of places, you know, to more of the heart of the community that we might not get to touch a lot of in science when we're in the lab, right? And I've continued to do that work here at Stanford, you know, partnering with different physicians here working on pediatric respiratory illnesses in Ethiopia, currently working on like a stroke to hypertension pipeline, understanding the intricacies of that and the disparities behind that. So we've done a lot of work on that front, and you know, it has been good to kind of see the fruits of that labor and understand the importance of it on a global level. So it's been good, great.
But what were some of the challenges you faced though, getting that initiative off the ground? You just migrate, you're from Jamaica, know all of these things.
Right,
What was that
right.
like?
Right. And you know that you make such a good point there. The big thing is that a lot of times, you know, as Jamaican people, we're very ambitious. You know, we're all very, very ambitious. And a lot of times we love to do things on our own. What I had to realize there was I needed community. I needed to talk to people about this goal that I had. And that's how taking it off the ground happened. When I started to talk to guidance counselors, when I started to talk to my friends, and, you know, guys, I have this idea, you know. And but I'm realizing now as I'm trying to take it off by myself, it's not something I can do myself. That was that big movement that got it working for me.
You have received several awards and scholarships over the past few years, Kyle, and I'm going to read some of them because there are so many. I cannot recall all of them, all right? The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Gates Scholar, that was in 2020.
Right.
Union of Jamaica Alumni Association Award of Excellence 2020. Translational Research and Applied Medicine Grant, that was in 2021, 2022. 2023, Stanford Cancer Institute Undergraduate Fellowship Award. In 2023, Prime Minister National Youth Award for Excellence. And you were also a Rhodes Scholar finalist in 2023. What does it mean to you to be recognized in your faculty and by the government of Jamaica?
Wow. I mean, a lot of the work that I've done in the last few years, you know, a lot of times you're just so focused and you know, you're doing your thing. And I think when it's time to kind of reflect on those things, which a lot of these honors and awards have allowed me the platform to kind of sit and reflect on the work that I've done. I find myself in spaces of gratitude, you know, and just grateful that I'm able to work on the type of things that I'm working on, the type of cancer research that I've been able to do here, the support of my family, the support of the government of Jamaica in that way as well. You know, it really is an amazing experience. And, you know, I still remember the day, you know, at the Prime Minister's Youth Award, you know, just hearing them call my name for the science and technology, getting to speak with Prime Minister Holness about it and the type of work that I'm doing. It truly was an amazing experience. And moreover, what I really love about kind of being able to talk about these honors and talk about these awards is hearing what other young people have to say and how much they are working towards it as well. Because at the end of the day, you know, to me, getting any of these awards, doing any of this work, it is always to the betterment of someone else. That is always my hope. And hopefully, you know, somebody else can see this journey and understand that while it, you know, it's not always easy, you're going to find a lot of joy in the type of work if you're passionate about it, and you will be recognized for it. You know, it's not something to necessarily go for and shoot for, but focusing on your path, focusing on your passion, you'll be recognized for it. And I'm grateful to, you know, Prime Minister Holness, to the Gates Foundation, Jackie Cook Foundation, Stanford, for all their awards and fellowships that they have awarded me. It's been a great experience.
And tell us a little bit about your background and, growing up in St. Anne.
I grew up in Eltham, but you know, always tell people I'm from Ocheria, so you know. Yeah. Boy, I when I think about Ochi, when I think about Eltham and just the community that I was living in and the beauty of having people that just walk to your doorstep and say, here's two mango. That is the type of upbringing that I had. I grew up with my mom, my two sisters, and as well as my godparents. We actually live across from each other. So I'd always walk back and forth. Some days I'd run to their house to go steal a second dinner. That was me as a child. And, just having that type of support growing up in a community oriented place was just beautiful. And I think it shaped a lot of the kind of work that I want to do. It shaped a lot of my dreams in the pursuit of medicine. And what I realized too is just how much I value creating that kind of space even while I'm here when I'm cooking Jamaican food for my friends and that type of thing. That upbringing has just been it has been amazing. Yeah, man. So I love Ochi so much. I go back all the time, especially whenever I go back to Jamaica. Even recently, even if I'm in Kingston for like a business trip, for the road trip or whatever, I always try to find some time to go back to Ochi and see my family. So I treasure that experience. I treasure that upbringing, and my parents worked very hard to make sure that even with the little we had, make sure that I was in a good school and learning the things that they had the big dreams for me before I could dream big for myself. So always appreciative of that and just the community and how much they poured into that work as well.
So what's next for Kyle? Your doctorate?
Yeah, so I'll be taking a year in New York. I'm working in this surgical scholar fellowship that I was awarded at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York, which I'm very excited about. So I'll be working in the lab and in the clinic on both modalities, which fits perfectly with my aspirations. So in the meantime, I'm also having this year-long process of applying to med school, but what I'm doing is I'm applying to a dual degree MD and PhD program because the idea is to be a physician and a scientist. So after this year in New York, I'll have 8 more years of schooling to get both to get both doctorates.
More. Wow, 8 more. So Kyle, do you find time to have any fun? I don't see that. How is that possible?
Yeah, the beauty of it is you have to find time or you're gonna end up just go crazy with all this work. And I play a lot of tennis with my friends. I try to go out as much. I'm in a beautiful city here at Stanford. We're near San Francisco. So we try to go out and spend a lot of time. Well, not a lot, but some time having fun there. And just that balance has been helpful and definitely keeps me afloat when these things get tough. So yeah. And I also take a lot of photos. I love photography. So sometimes just going out into, a lot of natural areas here and taking pictures of the birds and stuff, find a lot of joy in that.
You have accomplished so much at just 22 years old, Kyle. I can't even come to that yet. What advice do you want to leave for my young viewers about setting goals and, achieving them?
Wow. One of the big things that I love to tell people is how much your limits are really set by your confidence. Um, a big thing in any part of this journey has been approaching it with a level of confidence and understanding that, I might not know everything about the thing I'm entering, but with work, with hard work, with dedication, I will get to a point where I'm successful in the endeavor. And that has been a mindset that has just provided such, fruitful outcomes. And, one of the key aspects that I love to tell people is just to hone in on that, hone in on your confidence. Try to teach yourself how to be confident before you start tackling the maths or the science or the English, the law. At the end of the day, unless you are approaching it with a level of willingness to improve yourself and an understanding that you are at a place where you can improve yourself and you're not stuck at where you're at, that will propel you forward. And what I really do wish for more confidence, especially amongst our Jamaican youth. And I know that can be challenging, but the fruits of your labor thereafter will be even so much more when you can approach it from that aspect, when you can approach it from that perspective of I can do it.
Well, Kyle, it was great talking to you. I really enjoyed this interview. I mean, I've learned so much. And I just want to wish you all the best. And I'm
Right.
sure that what you'll be working on will be beneficial to the entire world. And we're looking forward to that.
Thank you so much, Ms. Boyne. I appreciated all your questions and had so much fun answering you.
Yeah, man, it was great.